business analytics information system, and he is also a graduate of IIT Delhi, and basically he have done MBA from there. Right now, he is participated in various projects, like one of the project that is based on deep learning, and one of the other project which is to just indicate the route survey and all those things. So today, he is going to talk to you about data exploration techniques and what this is all about. Okay, so over to you, Shatrajit.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kisan Kumar, and thank you for providing me this opportunity to interact with the students, and thank you for having me. Hope my voice is audible to everyone. Can you confirm? Is it
Yes,
audible?
yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me share my screen first. Okay. If my screen is visible, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, so good to go. So let me start the topic today. So the topic is data exploration. So today the agenda here. So I will be covering what is data explorations and the importance of data exploration, as well as it is somehow connected to data visualization as well. So I will touch upon the data visualization, and there are some properties of data explorations, and there are some limitations as well, because every single thing has some limitations, and how data exploration can help the marketing manager to deal with different business challenges. Because once you have let's say data, once you have visuals, so in that case, how you can decide and how you can deal with some of the business challenges. And at the end, I'll try to show you some of the the Python codes and some libraries of Python, how you can deal with the different charts and graphs. That would be some interesting part of it. Okay, so in between, if you have any questions, people can raise hand and you can ask, and it should be more of a interactive, so it will be good. So let me first define what is data explorations, because it's one of the initials of one of the, you can say, the data mining process. So whenever you deal any data science project, you have to deal with data exploration as well. So it's one of the critical part, one of the important steps of data mining, you can say, the data uh, explorations, or you can say if you are dealing with any machine learning projects. So in that case, once you have collected the data, it's time for you to work on this data explorations part. So it refers to the critical process of performing initial investigations. So whenever you have a data, once you have collected data, maybe it's primary or secondary, once you have a data, you clean it, you prepared the data, now it's time for you to uncover the patterns. So data exploration is all about discovering patterns in the data set. And also you try to find some of the anomalies, some of the the unusual behavior which is hidden in it, and you try to find some of the hypotheses and check assumptions, okay, through different stats. That is typically called data descriptions, or you sometimes called the summarization of the data. And you typically use the graphical representation. So data explorations combines both data visualizations as well as the descriptive stat. Okay, so if you see this visual on the right side, you will see, apart from the stat analysis, anomaly detections and summarizations, we have an interesting part that is called a clustering. So clustering is also somehow, it's a finding patterns in the data, that is part of the data explorations. Okay, and then if you see this visual, this is first you try to collect the data in the data science project. Whenever you deal any data science project, You try collecting the data first. So data collections, maybe it is primary data, secondary data, or maybe you are collecting data from the social media. Typically people use Twitter data for sentiment analysis, maybe the Instagram, maybe the YouTube videos. So if you see any YouTube video, there are certain comments behind that the comments. So we try to extract those comments and you process the data. Then you clean the data, because the majority of the time the data analysts they invest time in data cleaning, because the data cleaning part is one of the critical steps. So 60 to 70% of the time people invest in data cleaning, and then you go with this data exploration part, and then you apply some of the machine learning models. It's like preparing and applying machine learning algorithms. For example, if it's a categorical response, in that case you apply some of the classification algorithms. Maybe you apply logistic regression, maybe you apply support vector machine. There are many algorithms depending on the type of the data. And then you go on to visualize the data. If you like to see how it looks like, if there are some, you can say, the outliers in the data or not, if there are some missing values, in that case you try to visualize it freehand, because the visuals tell you the more stories. And then you deploy it, because deployment is nothing but you just create some AI systems and then you apply for the enterprise or for any applications in the real world. So this is entire data science process, but the critical part is exploratory data analysis, because you typically want to explore at the time, because exploration is something which gives you the hidden patterns in the data. That is interesting one. And then after visualizations and reporting, you just take some decisions. So I'll let you know what kind of decisions typically enterprise takes, because once you have a visuals, now it's time to act. Okay. So the CRISP DM methodology, it's a repetition, but whenever you deal with data science projects, so you have to follow this pipeline. So if you see the exploratory data analysis, so in that case, the typical touch point is determining the important variables. You build models and you access the models. So if you find any problem in the model, then you just go on to collect the fresh data, then you prepare the data, and then you again go for the exploratory data analysis. So this is the important touch points. Okay. So if you see this bubble of the data science project life cycle, so whenever you work on any project, so if it is related with machine learning models development, in that case you have to go with this phase. So first is business discovery. It means you have some business questions with you, because ultimately you will address these business questions. So once you have clear understanding of your business problem, once you know what is your goal, right? So once you formulate the business objective of the project, you just try to collect the data. So data discovery is it's a more of a data collections. Maybe it is primary, secondary data, right? So if you have some archives, you try to extract the data, right? And majority of the time people collect the fresh data through different surveys. That is your primary data collections. Okay. So, and the data cleaning and preparation. So obviously data cleaning, as I already told you, it's a typical, it's a take more of your time, because once you have a huge chunk of a data, in that case you have to analyze which variable you want to keep and how much you want to keep data in your analysis. And then you go with this exploratory data analysis, and then comes the feature engineering. Feature engineering is nothing but selection of the variables for your machine learning project. Okay, so which variables you want to include in the project, that is more important. And then you build a model. Building means which ML technique you want to apply, whether you want to go for regression or classification. Then you validate the model and then you score it. Or if you are applying, let's say, 5 regression models or classification algorithms, then you try to score. Score means it's your performance of the model, the training and testing part. which model is giving you the best result, right? That is scoring. So coming to this data exploration and visualization, so as I already told you that exploration and visualization go hand in hand. So in data exploration, the typical part which we want to address, or the data analyst address, is checking the data distributions. For example, if you have 5 variables, okay, and you want to predict the sales, so in that 5 variables you want to see how your data is distributed, whether it's normally distributed or it has some, you can say, the outliers. Okay, so if your data is right skewed or left skewed, so in that case the data exploration will give you a clue, right? If you want to find the correlation between those variables, obviously if you want correlation between the 2 variables, if whether your 2 variables are correlated or not. So in that case, if the 2 variables are highly correlated, let's say the size of the room and the square feet of the room, let's say there are 2 variables. So if you plot it out, you will see the 2 variables are highly correlated. So in that case, you have to remove one. So the correlation will give you the clue of how to remove a variable or how to keep the variables. That is the most important part. And in data exploration, there is something called outliers. Okay, so I'll explain the outliers, and I just suppose that you people know what outliers is, right? And the missing value, obviously, if you plot the data, right, you will see how many numbers are missing, maybe the how many rows are missing. So in that case, it gives you the clue. And if you go with this data visualization part, right? So in data visualization, it is nothing but it's mapping between maybe the variables, input and output. Sometimes you visualize data in terms of tables, but majority of the time you will see some charts or graphs, because the visuals tells you the more the real story lies in the visuals, because once you see the visuals, it gives you a lot of informations. Okay, and the right selection of the visuals is more important, because which chart you want to show. For example, if you want to show the histogram, you cannot show it through the line chart, because line chart gives you the trend. For example, if it is a time series data, it's important to show you through the line chart. You cannot show it through the histograms, because line chart will tell you where is where is the breakage, where is the up and down, right? The valley, and you can see the where the graphs is going up and down depending on the time, right? So line chart gives you the more the concrete results. If it is a correlation, then you go with the scatter plot and the heat map, right? So there are different steps in data, this data science project life cycle. If you see the data exploration part, the first part was the problem understanding. Obviously, it was the business understanding. Once you understand the business objective, then you go on to collecting the data, and then comes the data exploration part, right? So in that case, you explore and visualize the data to uncover the insights from the start, or to identify the area or pattern to dig into more, right? So exploration means you try to explore some kind of a patterns in the data before applying any modeling techniques. Okay, so data exploration is as I already told you, is the one of the critical stage in data mining project. If you are working on any enterprise level project, so you have to keep eye on the data exploration part, because machine learning models, once you have prepared data and everything, you can easily apply machine learning models, because that is, it how you can apply it, because ultimately you have to check the accuracy and all that is not critical one. So the business understanding, as I already told you, now coming to this the business understanding part, this phase is often taken care by the specialized domain experts. Okay, so for example, if you are building any AI systems, right? So in that case, if it is related with, let's say, some visually challenged people, if you're developing any AI systems or AI product, in that case, you must have some person who are specialized in that domain, those who have a business understanding of that that product first, and they understand the business side of it. Okay, for example, if let's say you want to sell more units of certain products, okay, so the people who have a business understanding can formulate the project, can formulate the project. So in that case, it's like you must have some people, those who have a domain expertise in that area, right? So for example, the problem with the marketing manager to deal with, there are different business challenges. So for example, how to allocate market budget across the channels. Okay, so these are the something which a marketing manager must understand. They must have a business understanding of it. Okay, which marketing strategy and tactics are getting best result. They must know that which marketing strategy they will apply so that they can get the best result, best revenue. The challenges in traditional versus digital marketing spend, and what is the impact of that, whether the marketing manager want to go with the online or offline kind of advertisement. So they must have those the business understanding first. For that you require some of the expertise person, some of the experts in that area, right? For example, once you have the strategy at hand, right? So in that case, strategy, the people, 1 minute, the people who, just give me 1 minute. So once you have this strategy at hand, so this matrix that is called ANSOP matrix. So in ANSOP matrix, for example, you want to diversify your business and you want to launch a new product, but it's a new market. In that case, you have to diversify it, and it's a high risk. Okay, so once you have a data, once you have visualized the data, now you have explored it, now it's time to act, take decisions. So it's a part of a strategy, how you give a better strategy. Okay, so a strategy is something, once you have data, once you have visualized it, so in that case you have to take some decisions. So I have already shown you that once your data visualization part is done, you can also take some decisions, you can also formulate some strategy. So for example, in that case, in this Apple case, this diversification, so once you have data and everything, now it's time for top manager to act. So if Apple wants to diversify the business, okay, so in that case they are launching a new product in a new market, they will take a high risk, obviously. Okay, if they want a new product but in existing market they want to roll out, they will go for this product development. So product development has some medium risk. Okay, and then comes to market penetration, means obviously you have a same product, you want to sell more of it. So existing product in an existing market, you can sell it out, right? Then comes market development. Obviously you have an existing product but in a new market, it's like a domestic market. In that case, it's a medium risk. So these all decisions, this is just part of a strategy. These all decisions are coming from some data. They have a data, they have acted upon it, they explored it, and that thing can be done through this marketing strategy. Okay, so it's a part of the data exploration part, and then you can take decisions. So so once you have this data expression part is done, then comes this modeling. Modeling means obviously you have to apply some machine learning algorithms. So this is a phase of most important, and you can say So the modeling is, if you see the modeling part, this is the most important one. And for example, you just want to model it, means you have a data, you have explored the data. Now it's time to apply the machine learning algorithms. Okay. So now which algorithm you want to apply, whether you want to go with regression or classification, whether you want to predict some numerical value. For example, you want to forecast some sales, or you want, let's say if you have every single thing, for example, let's say you have a 5 years of a data, now you want to forecast. So which predictive algorithms you want to apply, whether it is a forecasting, if it is a classification, whether someone has a COVID or not, that will come under classifications. Okay. So now modeling, once you have modeled it, now you have a new data. Let's say you have unseen data now. So prediction means you will apply some of the algorithms. Once your model is trained, you will apply the unseen data to check the accuracy and validity of the model, how your model is performing. Okay. So the new data is nothing but it is unseen one, which is not seen to the ML models. So then you will apply these modeling techniques. Okay. So the training testing part will come under the new data one. Once you have trained the model, then you test it out through the unseen data or new data. Then it gives you some prediction that will come under the modeling one. Then comes the evaluation of the part, evaluation of the models, how you are going to evaluate the model. Okay. So you will check whether you are able to solve the business problem or not. Once you have, let's say, the data, once you have the training and testing of the data, how you are going to evaluate it, means how you are going to solve the problem, whether the output which is coming from the ML models are solving your business problem or not, whether it is giving you the correct result or not, whether it is fitting your data or not. That will come under the evaluation of the ML models. You are going to check it through the test score, right? So which model is giving you the best result? Let's say if you are applying 5 classification algorithms, support vector machine, logistic regression, SVM, there are many more models for classification. If you are applying, then you will check the test and accuracy of that model, and then you will select the best one. Then comes the deployment part, how you are going to deploy the model. Once your machine learning model is trained enough, now you want to apply it into enterprise level, whether you want to create some AI systems. So in that case, it will come under the deployment phase. You will deploy it into the real world to solve the real business challenges. That will come under your deployment part. So for deployment, we have another teams. They take care of the deployment of machine learning systems. So it's the last phase, you can say, of the machine learning pipelines. That is your deployment phase, right? So there comes a list of data exploration and visualization tools. If you see, the basic one is, if you go with the Excel, it's one of the, you can say, the finest tool till yet. And the majority of the enterprise, you will see people do use this Excel, because Excel is one of the, the basic one, and they do have some advanced facilities that can give you a lot of data exploration and visualization capability. Then comes the Tableau, then Power BI, we have a ClickView, Fusion Charts, and there are Google Charts, K9, Zoho Analytics. These are the some tools which are, you can say, the best one in the market, and depending on the requirement, the enterprise use it. But the Tableau and the Power BI, you can say, the majority of the, you can say, the enterprises, they are using, apart from the Excel one. Then comes the library based. If you see the Python library based, then you can see the Matplotlib, scikit-learn, Plotly, Seaborn, Pandas, Folium, Pygel, Geoplotly, Missing Numbers, ggplot2, and in R you will see ggplot2 and ggplot, this one. So in R Python you will see the similar kind of libraries. So we will see a few the exploration tools here. So if you see this Tableau one, so Tableau is obviously it's easy to use, and you will see the free versions. The students who want to use it for 14 days, they can also the subscribe to this Tableau and you can use it. It's a mobile friendly and powerful. It has a powerful computation. So if you have a data, you can easily compute it and it gives you a quick insights. And also their dashboards, the Tableau dashboards are more, you can say, the easy to understand. So the people who wants to explore their career in this data visualizations, they can opt for this Tableau. Okay, but there are some, the problem with this Tableau is that if you have a more data, right? So in that case, it's also problematic, and obviously you have to pay price. You have to pay for enterprise level, so it's a costly one, and obviously some of the parameters which you have to update manually. So there are some problems, but I'll say it's one of the good tool for data visualizations. Then comes this Power BI. So Power BI is, you can say, the extension of Excel. So people, those who have a good knowledge of Excel, they can easily use this Power BI, and obviously it is developed by Microsoft, so it has some pros and cons. So obviously it is affordable, cloud-based, and some of the the desktop version is free, and big, and they have a good active community. So if you have any problems, you can post queries, and wide variety of charting options for data visualization. So if let's say if you, for the same visualization, if you want to select different charts, graphs, you can easily opt it out, because the same, for example, if you want to pull out the bar chart, in case, you can also use it. So there are different charts and graphs options and capabilities that is inbuilt in Power BI, and they typically upgrade it constantly. So the upgradation part will give you the more flexibility to use it, and extensive database connectivity. So these are the some pros of Power BI, but the problem lies here, because obviously if you have a large data set, so in that case it struggles, because for handling the large data set, you require larger the processing capabilities. Maybe sometime it hangs. So that is the problem with this Power BI, and the cloud version does not have the all the features available in the window version, so it's also a problematic one. But overall, if you will see, overall the Power BI is one of the finest tool for data visualization. So I'll say this Tableau and the Power BI, you can go for anyone, and the both are equally, I can say, powerful for data visualization. So and there comes this ClickView. ClickView is also important, you can say, the business intelligence tools. So there are some pros and cons with this ClickView also, but if you start with the data visualizations, you can go with this ClickView also. And if you see the ClickView, there are pros and cons, but the problem with this ClickView is that if you want to create a dashboard, because ultimately for data visualizations or data exploration part, you require to have better data, the dashboards, because ultimately the if you want some patterns in the data, if you want to have some kind of information out of the dashboard, you must have a better dashboard, because ultimately the different KPIs are captured through the dashboards, because the different set of informations can be easily picked up, can be easily mined it through the different charts and graphs. So it's important for any data visualization tools, they must have better dashboard facility. That is important one. Okay, then comes this Orange tool. If you go with this Orange tool, It's a plug and play kind of stuff. It is built on obviously Python. So the people who are not well versed with this Python programming, they can go with this Orange tool, because you have to just bring some obviously the plug and play kind of a thing, and you can develop machine learning algorithms. You can visualize the data. So it's like a complete package for different kind of analysis. They also provide text mining and maybe some you can say the audio or video, I think, but text mining, and if you have a tabular data, you can easily apply this Orange tool. Okay, so I have also used it. Orange is one of the finest tool. You can also use it for data visualization as well as for machine learning. Okay, so importance of this data exploration and visualization. Ultimately, you have to tell a story. Okay, if you are working in any enterprise, so in that, if your manager has given you the data, right, some sales data, so in that case you will explore the data, you will present it in some visuals, but ultimately you have to tell some stories. Stories is nothing but you can say the interesting insights. If there are some narrative, so data exploration and visualization is it's all about building a narrative based on some visuals and some of the explored part, right? So ultimately you have to tell a story. So whenever you create a dashboard, there are some hidden stories inside it. It tells you the different hidden patterns, the different hidden, you can say, the stories in it. So ultimately you are writing a better stories that can help bring a business to do better, right? So so you will see the how it is important, how important is data exploration, right? So why it is important? Because ultimately we have to understand some variables. Let's say you are building a machine learning algorithms, you have a 10 variables. So you will understand, you try to understand how and which variable you want to pick. Okay, so by looking at the different columns in your Excel sheet, you can easily see these are the variables. Okay, but which variables you want to keep and which you want to discard, right? So for that you must have a prior knowledge of the variables, right? And detecting any outliers. So data exploration will give you the outlier detection, because whenever your data starts lying, it's very problematic for machine learning models, because your data must not lie, right? So for that you have to remove the outliers. Okay, so the most common part is you go with the data visualization as well as the exploration one, right? So that before applying machine learning models, you just remove the outliers, right? That can be done through the scatter plot, the box plot. So these are the sum plots will give you a clue that where your outliers lies, because once you are able to remove the outliers, those who are lying, so in that case your model will be good enough, right? Then you try to examine patterns and relationship. So data exploration will give you this facility of examine the patterns and relationship among the variables. Okay, for example, a business exploring data from multiple stores may have information on location, population, temperature, and per capita income, right? And to estimate the sales for a new location, they need to decide which variable to include in the predictive model. So in that case, you must know that which variables you want to remove, whether you want to remove the temperature or you want to remove, you can say, the location one, right? You must know it. So this kind of information can be extracted through the data exploration part, right? Now coming to some data visualization tools, the Python one, the library based, which we typically do it through the programming one. For example, people knowing the R or Python programming can easily understand the different this library which is listed here. For example, Matplotlib, Scikit-learn, Plotly, Seaborn, Pandas, Folium, Pygal, Geoplotly, missing numbers ggplot2. So these are the some of the interesting, you can say, the Python libraries which are you can use majority of the time for data visualization as well as for data exploration one. Okay, so we'll see few of the Python based libraries. So just see, this one is a matplotlib. This is mathematical plot, right? So if you want to create a scatter plot is it's like if your data has some outliers, missing value. So a scatter plot can give you one of the clue. If you want to plot, let's say, regression kind of a problem, so a scatter plot can give you a clue. Bar chart, histogram, if your data has some, if you want to see the distribution of the data, so the histogram bar chart can give you the clue. The pie chart, you want to see the distribution of the data. Steam, contour, QR plot, these are the some of the advanced charts which are used for the distribution of data, how your data is distributed. So mathematical plot can give you a lot of information. So in that case, you will use this matplotlib, right? Now coming to this Seaborn. Seaborn library is typically, if you use it, it's an advanced version of matplotlib. For example, if the first distribution is distplot, this is distribution plot. If you see this one, your data is somehow normally distributed. Okay, there is a peak here, the mean values lies here, right? It gives you how your data is distributed, whether it is normally distributed or not. Because if you are applying a regression problem, the basic assumption is that your variable must follow your data. You can say that your variable must be normally distributed. This is the first assumption. So before applying any regression problem, you just check every single variable whether it is normally distributed or not, right? So Seaborn will give you you can say advanced facility of data visualization, the visuals. For example, heat map, time series data. If you are plotting a time series data, in that case you go with different distributions. Then violin plot. So the violin plot is they can give you whether there are some outliers in the data or not, how many datas are normally distributed, and the concentration of the data, the distribution of the data. So these are the some facilities provided by the Seaborn libraries, because ultimately you want to plot different visuals, and every single visuals will tell you some stories, some hidden patterns in the data, which you have to communicate in terms of some business. It makes some business, right? Every single insights must give you some kind of the narrative which are connected towards your business problems, right? Now coming to this ggplot2, this is obviously a visualization libraries. So in ggplot, obviously it gives you different charts and graphs, and in R you will see ggplot2. Okay, so for ggplot2, it's like a graph. If you want to plot some graphs charts, so ggplot2 is important one. But in R, you have the similar this library, that is ggplot2, right? Then comes this bokeh. Bokeh is also interactive. If you want to plot some interactive plots, so in that case you go with this bokeh. And there comes this plotty. This plotty library is, for example, if you have online connectivity and you want some interactive charts and plots. For example, if you see this on the right side, A's annual income, and the data is in this URL. Okay, so the customers' age and incomes are there. In that case, now you want to plot through plotty. So age and income, this is the plot. So what is the income based on the age? So this will give you some kind of a clue, right? And majority of the people lies here. And you will see there are a few people on the right side. They are the outliers. Okay, but majority of the people, if you will see at 40, and when their age is less, they are earning more, right? Once their age is like if they are crossing 50, 60, their salary, or you can say the earning, is less. So this gives you a clue, right? So the visualization is giving you the clue. Then comes this Pyggle. This Pyggle is also like the bokeh plotty. They are also an interactive one. right? For example, male and female, and there, the total, you can say the how many customers are male and female in a certain mall, right? Okay. So in that case, if you want to visualize it, on the right side, you just see the male total customers is this one, and the female customer is more and the male customer is less. So it means this store is maybe the female centric. At least you have this an idea, because the male customers are less, okay, and then female customers are more. It means the centers are more of a female one, and the female centric, they are selling female centric product, right? So this gives you the one of the information, one of the insight, at least by looking at these visuals, okay? Then comes this geoplotly. This, if you want some geographical data to be displayed on the screen, and they display you in terms of certain maps. They display you some geographical maps, let's say, okay? For example, there are different stores, maybe if there are, let's say, if you have, let's say, 100 stores, okay, at different geographical location, and you want to plot it in a map, right? So in that case, you will go with this geoplotly. You can see there are different stores in the Delhi, Noida, Kanpur. There are many more in the South India. You will see in the middle of this Madhya Pradesh, maybe in this part there are less number of stores. So you can see there are more stores in the north and more stores in the south, but there are less number of stores in the middle of this country, right? So this gives you a clue that where you want to invest, where you want to put more stores so that you can earn more. So these are the information which can easily fetched out through this geoplotly, and then you can take some decisions, okay? Now coming, this is the last library of Python. This is missing numbers. For example, we typically when we develop machine learning models, so if you have, let's say, 1 lakh records, and now you want to check how many missing values are there, right? So it's very cumbersome. You cannot go and check each rows and columns how many missing values are there. So this missing number can help you out with this missing values, or if some variables have some missing values, they can help you out. For example, if you see, if you apply this this library, you will see this city, lat, long, country, ISO number 2, admin. These have 212 numbers of the values, the rows, you can say, the data points. But this capital has 38, population has 207, and this population proper has 207 number of rows, this data points. So these three have some missing numbers, right? So whether you want to scrap this capital or remove this capital variable, or you want to keep it, okay, it can give you through the missing numbers, okay? Or you want to add some numbers so that you can have 212 number of data points. So this missing number give you the clue that okay, this variable has some missing numbers, okay? So these are the some, you can say, the way of visualizing the data, exploring the data, because exploration and visualization goes hand in hand. And before applying any machine learning models, before building any machine learning models, you just go through this critical phase, because this critical phase is something which can avoid a lot of the problematic one which you will face during machine learning models, okay? So this is important one, and this is all from my side, and if you have any questions you can ask.
Students, do you have any question?
If you have any questions you can ask. I think
any questions, students? Seven. Arshit, no question? Akash, no questions? Okay, thank you Satyajit for such a wonderful presentation. So thank you very much once again for joining this meeting and giving a wonderful talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Prasant, for providing me this opportunity, and hope I'm able to deliver the content as per the the requirement. So thank you so much for providing this opportunity, Dr. Prasant.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.